What's up, guys? Your boys, 22K13. I'm going to talk about 10 awesome WWE Elimination Chamber moments, and this comes from WhatCulture.com. Even the most ardent WWE fans must admit that there are so many big events flying around that it's hard to keep pace. It seems like the company are wheeling out a pay-per-view like show every few weeks nowadays, which doesn't really give each one any real time to live long in the memory. After all, when fans know there's another just round the corner, each event is pretty much forgotten about by the time Monday Night Raw starts the following night. In fairness, this doesn't necessarily mean that there are not enjoyment to be had by tuning in into each show, because as Elimination Chamber once again proves there is, contrary to popular belief, WWE have a very accomplished roster at their disposal just now, one which has been stupidly beefed out by a number of imports taking the step up from NXT. Sure, the star power may not be what it once was, but few grappling fans can argue with the current talent pool, certainly from the perspective that these men and women are putting on very watchable matches time and time again. With that in mind, there were many awesome moments throughout Elimination Chamber, but what one was the best? Number 10, the end sequence of the tag team title match. For a first-time idea, the WWE Tag Team Title Elimination Chamber match came across extremely well, especially when taking into account that the bout could have been an overbooked, confusing match which would have made Vince Russo wonder if he was writing for Vince McMahon again in his sleep. Thankfully, it wasn't, and even though there was a lot going on, it opened the show in spectacular fashion, setting the tone with fast-paced action. The team involved seemed eager to prove that the tag team division is alive and well, something that's hard to argue with on the evidence presented here. If the creative team could only add a few more tandems to the division, the tag team theme in WWE could be back to those glory days of old, right in time for Survivor Series. Going almost 25 minutes, this particular Elimination Chamber match had bags of cool spots, some of which will be explored on this list, but the ending was suitably dramatic and deserves a mention. It's a credit to how the bout was laid out that fans really wanted the primetime player to beat the New Day, but the heels looked ultra strong by overcoming a fire-up Titus O'Neil and Darren Young. Number 9, Neville pay-per-view win. Bo Dallas may not be as heavily featured on WWE programming as he once was, but he still has a nice ability to irk fans and make them want to see him have his mouth shut. That's what Neville came into proceeding. And this was a nice little pay-per-view win for the Newcastle-born high flyer, one during which he could shine against someone of a similar stature. Against King Barrett, Neville was the underdog somewhat, but that couldn't really be considered the case here against Dallas. Handed just under 9 minutes on the card, both guys had enough time to get some heat on the leader of the Bo Leave movement before Neville managed to turn the tables and come out on top. The Red Arrow Neville finishing move is mind-blowing to watch. Regardless of how many times it's used, just watching the reaction of fans at ringside when the Englishman spins through the air makes it worth it. Even adults are left speechless by how smooth and silky Neville's movements are. To summarize, it was a cool moment for him to win on pay-per-view, even if some fans have imitated that they would have rather seen him inserted into the Intercontinental title chamber match. Number 8, Naomi reversed Rana on Paige. It's been said that the WWE Diva often get overlooked in favor of their male counterpart. something which has been fairly obvious over the years. Simply put, Vince McMahon just doesn't seem to view women's wrestling as a draw for his product, instead seeing it as a nice little distraction which can pop a good rating but never anything more than that. At, at Elimination Chamber, that attitude seemed outdated, and it was genuinely cool to see the triple threat match for the WWE Diva title get some room to breathe. Yes, all three women were only really handed just over 6 minutes, but there was a nice pace to their bout, one designed to give everyone involved something to cheer about. It's heartening that everyone in the match got a reaction from the crowd when they shouted or screamed something. Paige's assertion that this is my house are always over, but Nikki Bella got them going too. And even Naomi was able to get some boos for her words. One of the best spots of the match was a reverse hurricanrana from Naomi to Paige. And while it wasn't as smooth as they would have maybe liked it, it was something not seen often in female WWE matches, helping this one stand out. Number 7. Barrett accidentally releases Mark Henry. WWE likes to try and get over the fact that the Elimination Chamber is one of the most dangerous battlegrounds in the entire industry, which is exactly why JBL was enlisted on the kickoff show to give fans a tour of the structure, citing the chains which surround the thing, the hard steel grate which run across from each pod, and the actual chamber themselves as things which can all be used as weapons. JBL seemed legit freaked out at having to step foot back inside the minimus structure. In reality, Mark Henry accidentally being released from his pod is exactly what should be happening in Elimination Chamber matches all the time. The environment should be put over as dangerous, unpredictable, and full of hidden surprises. Yes, the bulletproof glass thing may be a little tired, especially when wrestlers are thrown through it. But the look on Henry's face when he realized he was prematurely set free was excellent drama. When King Barry hurled Dolph Ziggler into the glass, cracking it and leaving Henry a route to freedom, everyone stole it brilliantly. It's fair to surmise that this was deliberate, similar to Sheamus being locked in his own chamber for longer than necessary a little later on, but it did add a little spice to the match and was pretty original. Number 6. The killer intensity between Cena and Owens. Even though the man could never be regarded as the most popular figure around, John Cena really isn't anywhere near as bad inside the ring as some would lead others to believe. Okay, so he's not exactly going to wrestle ring around his opponent, and the announcer mocks surprise whenever he debuts a new move is very forced. But the fact of the matter is that Cena has had great matches against a wide variety of opponents. Not only has he dragged the like of the Great Khali to better than expected bouts, the guy has also helped construct memorable battles against the likes of Umaga, Edge, Daniel Bryan, Triple H, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, and a literal ton of other names. Those talents were all good performers, but it takes two to tango, and Cena once again showed what he's capable of at Elimination Chamber. The match between John Cena and Kevin Owens had a cool intensity to it that only added to the overall presentation of the contest, feeling far grander than it arguably had any right to. Cena made Owens look like $1,000,000, or more accurately, facilitated the ultra-talented Owens to look phenomenal. Number 5. Every match was given time. Far from being just one awesome far from being just one awesome moment, Elimination Chamber featured many. On occasion, WWE have had a propensity to rush through matches on pay-per-view, only really meaning that a select few have any real impact on fans, which is surely not the way it should be, at least not on a special event. There should always be a difference between the card of Monday Night Raw and a pay-per-view, but that hasn't always been something WWE could claim. Elimination Chamber achieved that particular goal, however, because every single match felt weighty and purposeful. Even the pre-show battle between Stardust and Zack Ryder has substance. Let's not get carried away. The event won't live forever in the annals of time. But it was a very solid show, with the regularity of these pay-per-view events. Maybe that all people can really ask for, but there are certainly worse ways WWE could be going about their business than constantly putting on watchable events. This should be the template for every pay-per-view matches, which have time to think in with fans. Number 4. Kalisto climbed the chamber structure. In 2011, John Morrison created a very memorable Elimination Chamber moment by scaling the inside of the structure and dropping down onto Sheamus in the middle of the ring. It didn't look quite as stunning as many may have guessed before seeing the stunt, but it was still something fans had never really seen before. Wrestlers had jumped from the top of the pod themselves, but Morrison creatively opened up another possibility for the future. At the 2015 version of the event, Kalisto of the Lucha Dragon followed Morrison's lead and actually managed to make the spot look a little better than his predecessor. Beforehand, his partner Sin Cara had hit a picture-perfect swanton bomb off the top of one of the chamber pods, but Kalisto went one better by putting his body on the line in the ultimate fashion. It took quite a while for the luchador to get into position, but it was worth the wait as he let go and crashed down on a number of opponents waiting below. The setup for this kind of move is always going to be still somewhat, as the wrestler waiting to catch their foe stumble nervously around until he's ready to let go. But it still stands as a true, awesome moment. Number 3. A new Intercontinental Champ is crowned. In many ways, Ryback winning the Intercontinental title could be considered a step backward for the belt, but that's only because Daniel Bryan's reign seems to promise so much for the once re-owned secondary strap. Forced into vacating the title due to injury problems, Bryan was on hand to present the belt to the new champion at Elimination Chamber, and that man ended up being Ryback. It was surprising that WWE resisted the temptation to turn Ryback heel by clocking Bryan with his new trophy, especially after he had gushed over how much of an inspiration the former champion was to him and the fans. Genuinely good babyface meet babyface moments are few and far between in today's wrestling world, but this could be considered one of them that hit the spot nicely. It's perhaps also a slight shock that Bray Wyatt didn't come out of nowhere, blindsiding Ryback and staking his claim as a challenger, but there's time for that yet. Who knows if Wyatt will even be chosen as the first opponent for the new Intercontinental Champion, but there are certainly worse choices. Nonetheless, seeing Ryback win his first major single belt was cool, and fans seem to have come to terms with the fact that Bryan will be out for a while, so a new champ had to be crowned. Number 2. Dean Ambrose steals WWE title. At first, it seemed like Dean Ambrose had also captured some gold, but the decision was later reversed by the referees, disqualifying the lunatic friend for accidentally nailing him from the top rope. The bump actually looked more brutal than most refs tumbled to. Ambrose completely flattened the official, deciding against returning the belt to the actual WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins. Ambrose instead chose to keep hold of the title and leave through the crowd with it in his possession. In fairness, it was a nice, distracting way to end the night, pretty much eliminating any backlash from fans over what was effectively a swerve finish. If WWE are smart, the race for Rollins to get that title back where it belongs, around his waist, will start immediately. But there shouldn't any real rush to have Ambrose return it to the rightful owner. Maybe a ladder match at Money in the Bank is the answer, because even though the action was relatively slow between both men at Elimination Chamber, Rollins and Ambrose have decent chemistry together and do warrant another match. And number 1, seeing Kevin Owens beat John Cena. Who can say they 100% saw this one coming? A few years ago, it was unthinkable to even envision Daniel Bryan or CM Punk defeating John Cena on pay-per-view. Never mind Kevin Owens. WWE played a master stroke here because Owens came out of the match looking like a true main event level star. Of course, his entire WWE run won't be defined by just this one match unless the company don't capitalize on his victory at Elimination Chamber. They'd be silly not to, because throwing away a win over one of their most protected stars than doing nothing with the beneficiary makes no sense whatsoever. It's difficult to imagine that Owens will be allowed to enjoy another win over Cena in their rematch at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. But stranger things have happened. Besides, he doesn't really require another big victory over Cena, because few had him down for a win here, making this a massive shock, but a highly enjoyable one. Well, that's it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on the next one. Peace.